Hey guys, in this video I'm gonna tell my 11 principles on how to crush micros from $200 to 10k in less than 100 hours. So over $100 an hour starting from micros. Let's go. Principle number 1. Play tight. And what I mean by that is, here you can see GTO Wizard's opening range from 6 max under the gun. And you can see these numbers on the bottom right corner. King 5 suited says 0. King 8 0.01. And this 0.01 means that if GTO Wizard opens this hand from under the gun, it's expected to win that amount in big blinds. But I'm not so confident in my game that I would be playing as perfectly as GTO. Especially if you're quite new to poker, I would strongly advise you to fold these hands, especially out of position, these 0 or very close to 0 hands. Another example, you open from under the gun, button 3 bets you. There are all kinds of hands. You should 4 bet from time to time. This red means re-raise, and I would just fold all these hands. Same goes with these 7s, 8s, 9s hands. You can just fold them. Another example, you open from button, say the big blind, 3 bets you, and this is the range you should continue with. Calling 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, queen 10, so on and so forth. I would just fold these queen 10 of suits and ace 5 suited, especially ace 8 suited. Principle number 2, always 3 bet or fold. You can see here that under the gun has raised and you are on hijack. And here is GTO calling all 3 betting ranges, 3 betting on red and calling on green. Forget about the green parts, just 3 bet. Here is cutoff as an example. Small blind, just 3 bet all these hands that GTO is calling and or raising. Principle number 3. Position is king in poker. Remember that as a core principle when you play. Here's an example. Say cutoff raises and button 3 bets. There's only 5.5 big blinds to call. And here is the range cutoff should continue. Mainly 4 betting. Very rarely calling. And now let's compare to that to button raising and small blind 3 betting. And you can see that the raise is much bigger here. You actually need to pay 8.5 big blinds. So way more than in previous example, but still button is calling quite a lot more than in cutoff versus button. And mostly because of the position. So core principle, position is king. Principle number 4. Remember, different hands play well in different situations. And what I mean by that is you can see these suited connectors, suited connectors here, suited 1 gappers, small suited aces, small pocket pairs. These kind of hands like going multi-way to flop because they flop the nuts. They flop straights, they flop flushes, small pocket pairs flop sets, which are basically nuts. And now I'm saying that you don't have to always 3 bet or fold. 3 bet or fold is a great core principle, but sometimes you might want to just call open. For example, if there's a bad player behind you, you might want to lure him into the pot by just calling. Then again, these hands with 2 big cards, they prefer heads up pots. So these are the hands you want to specially 3 bet and get to heads up situations. To summarize, small pairs, suited connectors, some suited 1 gappers, some suited kings, especially so small suited aces, those hands like to see flop multi-way, big card hands want to go heads up. Principle number 5. Isolate recreational players relentlessly. Because money comes from recreationals. You want to play as many pots against them as you possibly can. Of course, you can play any two against them, but for example, if a recreational limps from early position and you're on a button, ISO him with exactly the same range that you would open from button. You have advantage of being aggressor and you have advantage of position. Just go for it. Relentless isolation. Number 6. Avoid fancy bluffs. Especially in WPT, I've noticed that recreational players do not like folding. So don't go check raise, dibba-dabba-da, or anything. I've realized that they fold very little when I bet for 3 streets, so I try to avoid that nowadays. Of course, I will do that against regs who can fold, but most of recreationals, I've noticed that they don't want to. So either just one and done, so I mean c-bet and then you give up, or then, for example, bet check bet line. That works. Which brings us to the principle number 7. Value bet relentlessly. I don't give a F what GTO says here. You are not playing against GTO. You are playing against bad recreationals. They have no idea what you should bet there or yada yada yada. Bet. They will call. That's where the money comes from. Okay, principle number 8. If you are an unexperienced player, I strongly advise you to play fewer tables until you are crushing. Start from one table, make sure that you get everything under control, and then you can bring another one, and after some time third one, and after some time fourth one, and so on and so forth. Principle number 9. Don't fall in love with your hands. And what I mean by that is, I see a lot of players falling in love with big pocket pairs, especially. I have aces, okay, we are getting all the money in no matter what. A more subtle example of that being, say you flop the nuts. You flop a set. You have pocket 6s and you call a raise and you flop a 6. Of course, you want to get the money in, for example, to 2-6-9 board. But what if the board gets worse? Flush gets in, straights get there, and you face a lot of action. You just have to learn how to get rid of those hands when the board is no longer good for you. I know it sucks when you get really excited. Oh my god, let's take all the money from the bank we can get and pile it in when we have the set. And then street by street, the board gets worse and worse. That takes a lot of discipline, but we just have to learn how to make those big folds. All right, this is where it all comes down to. Principle number 10. I think it was Yuri Pelek that brought this impression from martial arts to poker. I could be wrong, but sue me. Be water, meaning that adjust your game based on villain's tendencies. And it all starts from pre-flop. Okay, now we have learned the chart that we should be playing from each position against different action. But that is just the core principle. That is the GTO. As an example, if a guy that 3-bets you like 3%, which would be like roughly queens plus ace king, GTO tells you to 4-bet all kinds of hands like king 10 suited, ace 5 suited, etc. and call with all kinds of hands. Why would you call with ace queen if guy like that 3-bets you, yet alone 4-bets you? That's even better example. If someone like that 4-bets you, get rid of those queens now. And on the other hand, to the other direction. If someone is 3-betting you Relentless, you can call a bit wider or 4-bet a little bit wider than GTO says. So be wider. Then we go to post flop. Against some guys, you can call down, say you open from button, they 3-bet you and you flop a middle pair. Against some guys, you can just snap it off. Call all the way. But those guys are very aggressive pre and post flop. And then again, against some guys, I'm not calling even top pair there. Because those guys are the ones 3-betting queens plus. So 2-4, 8-10. If we have ace-10, I can't muck it fast enough. So be water. If you are playing on a site that you can use, there are a lot of cool numbers that you can look at to exploit players. Call or fold for c-bet, flop, turn, river. How much they fold in river in general, how much they bet the river in general, and all kinds of that stuff. And if you know what is the middle ground, say betting river 30% is the way to go. It's probably 40, 45, something like that. But anyways, let's say it's 30, and the guy is betting 40, 50. Of course, you can call down very light. But if he's betting like 20, basically there is no bluffs on the river. So fold everything but nuts. In general, when I sit at a poker table, I try to observe my villains, and if I can make notes of those, I will try to figure out which of them is leaking. And I'm trying to figure a way to exploit them. So I have a game plan for each player at the table. Okay, someone could be, okay, that guy seems like a GTO bot, or I don't know any exploit against him. He might be better playing than me. He might be so balanced than this and that. Okay, then I try to avoid playing hands against him, or not to avoid, but I play tighter against him than I play against the worst player at the table. So try to pay attention what's happening on the table and try to figure out how you could exploit this. Principle number 11. Learn how to run good. There are 3 ways. 3 ways to run good. First one, build an altar and pray. Pray for some of the poker gods. One time is one of very famous poker god. Please hold is another one. Okay, you can pick your poker god however you wish. Second one, go and order a book called Run Good for Dummies. Third, and in my opinion way easiest, is click the link below and go to WBT Global, where the games are soft. I'm joking.